Why don't we talk about the Ryzen AI Max 300 series?
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about it, even if you don't. Basically, these things are awesome. They have a horrible name because thank you, AMD, for that. But these things are sick. The Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 is like the coolest mobile processor that I think I have seen that I can remember off the top of my head. 16 cores, up to 5.1 gigahertz boost, massive cache, 40 graphics cores, and I believe they're RDNA 3. I want to say RDNA 3 or 3.5 or something like that. Basically like good ones, and up to 120 flipping watts TDP. And that's not even the best part. The best part is that these, unlike a lot of AMD's processors that have AI bolted onto them for no apparent reason in the product name, are actually pretty compelling for AI because they can be configured with up to 128 gigs of memory that can be reallocated between the CPU and the GPU, up to, I believe it's 96 gigs in Windows, and then up to, I think, about 110 in Linux can be allocated to the GPU. So kind of like we've seen with the Mac Studio, these things are going to be absolute monsters in terms of the size of the models that they can handle. These things are so freaking cool. And
which is interesting because that became significantly more relevant after they were announced.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lower end models that can, right. And what's really cool is because they wanted to keep this onboard GPU fed, this like massively powerful onboard GPU. Hold on a second. I'm just going to check the notes here. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was comparable to. Don't quote me on this because I don't think I see it in my notes, but I think it was supposed to be comparable to something like a 4070 mobile. Like this onboard GPU is flipping nuts on the top spec model. It's either 4060 Ti or 4070. I will let chat let me know what's going on. But I was running Black Myth Wukong on it at CES, and I was like, whoa. No, this is actually running. So in order to keep this GPU fed, that up to 128 gigs of memory is on this like massively wide bus. I think it's like 256-bit or something like that. So it does make the board design a little bit more challenging. And there's a video coming soon where we'll be talking a little bit in more detail about that. So that's why we're not seeing a lot of devices with these in them. But they're so powerful because the memory is so fast for both the CPU and GPU because they needed to make it fast enough to run that GPU. It's so cool. And it's even better than I thought. So I talked about this in a fair amount of detail with at least what we had when I did coverage of the ROG Flow Z13 in the ASUS booth at CES. But now that they're out and people can actually benchmark them in their own studios, the Fox, who you guys might remember, we've talked about him before, not in a while. He really focuses on like gaming handhelds. Super cool guy. Let me see. I think he's got a video. So wait, hold on a second. Did he review our precision screwdriver? Did you know about this? Did I talk about this? Did I just forget about this? What the heck?
Know. Did we even know about this?
What?
I didn't know about this.
No way. Dude.
Cool.
Interesting. Wow, how about that? Okay. Cool. Well, thanks anyway. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, here we go. So you guys are going to want to go check out his video. Here's his channel. So anyway, he really specializes in like handheld gaming PCs, handheld chips. And people were worried that since the low end of AMD's advertised sort of TDP target for this thing was 45 watts, that this thing would totally suck for handhelds. But it turns out the 395 crushes the 8840U in average FPS at the same TDPs of 25 or 20 watts in Arkham Knight and has an even bigger uplift in Cyberpunk. My notes say maybe just look at his charts, but we're not going to do that. We're going to send you guys to see his charts. The point is that it looks absolutely awesome, even at lower TDPs. He got 9 hours of battery life on the 395 by lowering power and 7.5 hours on the 390. And this is on the Flow Z13, which has a giant screen on it. So if you had a smaller screen in a handheld device, man, it could be freaking awesome. So our discussion question here is, if ASUS threw a 395 into an ROG Ally, how much would it cost, and would you pay that price to play games on a handheld with this high of a level of performance? How do I put this? I strongly doubt that ASUS has any plans to do a Ryzen AI Max or a Ryzen AI Max Plus ROG Ally. But I would be absolutely stoked if they did that. The problem is that the only customers that they'd really be addressing with that product would pretty much be people like me and reviewers who don't have to pay for them, because it would be
way too much.
Wildly expensive.
How much do you think one would cost?
I am going to make a fairly educated guess. Can't tell you how educated it is, but it's pretty darn educated. And I would say that there is no conceivable way that it would start under about $2,000 US.
Oh, that's exactly what I thought you were going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. People are like $900. No.
No, dude. No, dude.
Not even close. Like this is a full SoC, guys. This is up to 16, and I'm talking like the top spec with the 16 cores and the 40 core GPU. Like we're talking about a top of the line mobile CPU with a mobile 4070 bolted to it before you've even attached it to a motherboard, before you've put any memory on it. Like, no. I mean, you might need a little less memory for a gaming configuration. So, no, still $2,000. There's no way. And people are like, I wouldn't pay that much. It's like, yeah, they get it. That's why I strongly doubt that ASUS is going to build it. But your, willingness to pay for it doesn't change that. That's just what that would cost to build. And so that just is.
It would be sick though.
And that blows or whatever, but it is what it is, and that's what it costs, and that's why we can't have it, because there just wouldn't be enough people. Someone says Aya Neo is doing it for less with this chip. Are you sure? Aya Neo 395. What are we even talking about here? Aya Neo something. Ryzen AI Max. Are you guys sure? I don't see anything about this. I know he's not going to see any of this. No, I do see you, Flight 420. Yeah, I think I got trolled. Guys. No. Oh, Shraf 2K in Floatplane chat says, no. I mean, the regular Aya Neo is still $1,200 without that chip. Yes, exactly. So by the time you put this giant SoC in it, it's not going to get any cheaper. And you'd be throwing away a lot of its performance, because you would never want to put a big enough battery in a handheld to power this flippin' thing at a reasonable wattage for an extended period of time. So you'd be getting slightly better performance, but not as much as it's really capable of. I mean, even if you plugged it in, like, you'd still need a giant cooling solution on it if you wanted to actually hit like 100 watts plus. My understanding is the sweet spot is like 60 watts though.